Good morning. This is Mike Houston with your Southeast Idaho weather hazard briefing for Thursday, August 1st. Looking at the fuel status across the region, we continue to see mostly critical conditions with our fuels. There were some areas here that have dropped back to approaching critical due to the moist flow that we've seen recently. Looking at the ERC percentage, we see that most sites running in the 50 to 70th percentile. And the character on those yesterday was generally dropping across the region. Now we see a mix of dropping and rising. Looking at satellite imagery this morning, we see a high pressure ridge across the southern states with a very moist flow rotating up around the high into southeast Idaho and the central Rockies. In fact, yesterday's subtropical system now pushing off into Wyoming, and drier conditions beginning to spread in from the west. Looking further upstream, we have a low-pressure trough here off the central Canadian coast, and in between we have these embedded weak systems rotating up through that flow. Looking at radar imagery this morning, we do see the remnants of that subtropical system with the precipitation moving across central and eastern Wyoming. Very little activity here across southeast Idaho. Looking at our forecast charts for this afternoon, with skies clearing today, and ample low-level moisture from that passing subtropical system, we do expect the two to combine to produce scattered thunderstorms across the region today, some of them fairly strong. If we look at the storms here across the north, the character of those will be relatively dry, and the storms here within the Snake River Plain and southeast highlands should be mostly wet. I wouldn't even be surprised to see if we issue some flash floods today. And as a consequence, we have issued a red flag warning for the central mountain zones 422 and 476 from 1 p.m. this afternoon until 10 p.m. tonight. Advancing to our forecast charts for Friday, we see that high pressure ridge really kind of rebounding across the region, that trough up in western Canada beginning to advance east, but I guess well enough north of us really not to cause much of an impact. We still have some lingering moisture across the region, and in the proximity of this trough, we do expect to see some isolated thunderstorm activity here across the Salmon Chalice tomorrow afternoon. Conditions look to be relatively dry and stable for Saturday as we see the next monsoon beginning to set up here across Arizona, and we will see that push northward on Sunday with a glancing blow across southeast Idaho. On Monday, kind of a mixed bag going on here. We have a weak system pushing east through Canada, some of that moisture from that monsoon push lingering across the region, so the two will combine to produce some isolated thunderstorm activity, maybe even scattered up here along the Montana-Wyoming border Monday afternoon. And it looks like we'll waffle between those types of episodes of monsoon pushes and weak waves pushing across Canada into next week. So that cycle looks like it'll be continuing through the period next week. If you had any additional questions or comments, you can go ahead and give us a call here at the number on the screen. Thank you.